Alright, we're going to get started here using the hole tool. And first thing I'm going to do is just start off, I'm going to make just a rectangular extrusion to show you how to cut holes into 3D objects. So this will only work in extruded parts. Alright, that being said, I'm going to do a sketch on top of this little box. To use the hole tool, you need to have a point to reference. And I'm going to use the midpoint value here. So I'm just mousing over the edge of that line to find the midpoint. It shows up when the triangle hits. And I'm going to add a point here. And I'll use this to do my hole tool. So in the Create tab, there is a tool called Hole. And when you open it up and click on that point, it generates a hole that you can add some specific information to, right? So you can still use the distance and the edge, just like you can when you're extruding. Okay, and you can add specific sizes here and dimensions. And these are all things that you would take with your calipers for whatever fastener you're going to use. Okay, and then I can also make this go all the way through. So if I select 2 for my extent and then click on the opposite face, it doesn't go all the way through like this and accidentally cut into one of your other parts. Alright, so I'm going to add a couple more points here. So I need to go in and edit my sketch that I just drew. So I'm going to right click my sketch 2 and edit it. And then again I'm going to grab my point tool and I'm going to find that center point. And I'm just going to add a couple more points so I can show you the different types of holes that you can generate. Alright, now remember, when you use a sketch, it automatically disappears. So you have to use the little eyeball to turn those points back on. Okay, and now I'm just going to show you, we have countersink and counterbore, two different types of heads on a bolt or a screw. And right here, it gives you a picture of the fastener and then all of the points that you would adjust. So these are all things you could measure with the calipers to get this hole to match the fastener that you're using. Okay, and then notice here on the bottom, I have a tapered kind of pointed end. And then I can also select a flat end. And that all kind of applies to whatever fastener you choose to use. Okay, now this one, just switching over to the countersink. So there's two circles on the top. One is the size of the screw itself, and then the top one is the diameter of the head of the screw so that you can get it to sink in and sit flush with the surface. Alright, so the other cool thing you can do with the hole tool is you can select multiple points at once. So all I have to do is hold down shift and you can select multiples. So if you have a project where you're making a bunch of holes and you're using the same fasteners, you can do this function once instead of multiple times. So I went over to the threaded tool. So this is if you're using a threaded bolt or a screw. Just select the 3/8 because that's a common size, and then kind of adjusting the head. And these are things, again, you would fit to whatever specific bolt fastener you're using. Okay, and then I also checked model because I want to make the threads show up so that I can see them. Okay, and then another cool function here in Fusion is I can go into the inspect tool and I can click on section analysis. I can click on a face and it will subtract away the material to show me the inside without cutting my solid apart. So this way you can see the inside threads, what they look like. And again, you can click on your timeline at the bottom and then readjust those holes if you're going to go fine or coarse threaded. All right, so check out lesson 8. We're going to learn how to use the revolve tool.